Hi, and welcome to another episode of Learning About Mindfulness with us at Mindful Breath. In this episode, we will be exploring how not to be bored out at work. We are all familiar with the feeling of burnout. Bored out is the cousin of burnout. How do you know if you are bored out at work? Well, the first symptom is you feel under challenged at work. You also don't find any meaning in your life purpose. Next, you're not experiencing personal growth in whatever you do, especially at work. You don't find any purpose in your work. And lastly, you are cyberloafing at your job, meaning while you're working, you're surfing the internet, shopping online, or browsing through social media. Does that sound familiar? Because I myself have suffered bore out at work before. Most of us would like to do what we love and love what we do. But there are so many choices out there, and some of us just find it hard, to find what we love to do. For example, if you are good with numbers and you are doing accounting, but you do not like your job as an accountant, how do you start searching for your dream job? There are so many things we can choose from, and it can take a lifetime to find out. By then, our lives might have come to an end and we may not still find what we love to do. Moreover, we can also get bored with what we think we love to do. So while most of us do not find our dream jobs, we may look for pleasures outside of work to stimulate our senses. Or we may not do what we love, but yet earn a lot of money doing what we don't love. And these increasing salaries and perks cause some of us to seek bigger and bigger pleasures by partying harder, buying bigger cars and bigger houses to make up for doing what we don't love. So this pursuit of pleasure is known as the hedonic treadmill, where we desire something, strive to obtain it, we enjoy the pleasure, then we adapt to it, meaning we get used to it. After we adapt to it, get used to it, we become bored, and then we find for ways to increase those desires and pleasures, and the treadmill goes on and on and on. In this case, our lives may turn out to be a never-ending rat race. Are we then destined to get burnt out or bored out in our office cubicles? The answer is no. You're not destined to get burnt out or bored out in your office cubicles. As we have seen, both burnout by hedonic treadmill and being bored out can be attributed to having a lack of meaning or purpose in life. Since this episode is about being bored out and not burnout, there's one big reason, that supports our being chronically bored. That reason is our habitual thinking. What is the habitual thinking? The habitual thinking of thinking that we know everything in life. So when we think we know something, we stop learning, we stop our curiosity. I'm sure you have known people like that, right? Who, before you finish your sentence, they say they know. So when we think we know, it gets even more difficult, to find a meaning in life, right? So especially when we think we know more than we do. So instead of finding a meaning in life or a purpose, Why don't we add meaning or we add purpose to our lives instead? So although we talked about the hedonic treadmill as a form of pleasure seeking, we're not saying material wealth does not bring happiness. But too much pleasures can lead to burnout due to our getting bored very easily. Once the mind experiences one pleasure too many a times, it wants to have more and better pleasures because it gets really bored. So as you can see, right, burnout is also boredom. So because we are so stimulated by our senses, we neglect to see that we can actually build inner wealth instead of just focusing on the external wealth. So this inner wealth is the meaning or purpose we can add to life, regardless of what we do. But of course, right, when I say regardless of what we do, I don't mean, right, we go out there to steal things or to, I don't mean that kind of things. Yeah, I mean whatever we do in our general daily living, right, going to the office, dealing with co-workers, yeah, working from home, whatever. Okay, so what is this inner wealth I'm talking about? I would like to invite you to open your mind and consider working towards your inner wealth through the evolution of emotions. All of us have experienced these emotions in our lives. Take a look at them. Now that you have looked at all these emotions, I would like to ask you, which ones do you experience the most? Do you experience peace more than desire, or more desire than peace in your heart? How often do you feel joy and love in your hearts compared to pride, grief, or anger? Do you know? Have you noticed that your life is made up of certain dominant emotions that you experience? If you truly understand these emotions that you experience, you will see that the bottom ones, such as shame, guilt, apathy, and grief, have little energy in them. One who experiences these slow or negative emotions find little impetus to act. From fear to courage, there is the impetus to act. When you act, it means that there is something you wish to fight for or fight against. So neutrality and willingness onwards, you are learning to be balanced and open to accepting experiences in life rather than fighting for or against them, regardless of what they are. If you find peace in your heart most of the time, you have climbed to the very top level of evolve of the evolution of emotions. I guess now you know evolution of emotions involve transforming negative feelings into positive ones. Why consider this evolution of emotions, yeah, as a way of adding purpose to your life? Why should you consider this as a way of adding meaning or purpose in your life? Consider this. We view conflict in the world as coming from outside of us. For example, we would not have gotten angry if the other person did not provoke us. However, if you have some peace and love in your heart, you will not be so easily provoked by an angry person like the one you see on the screen. So when we have more peace and love in our heart, it means we also have more rationality because, right, we are more balanced, or we're not just tuned more towards or influenced by anger so easily. We could balance that with peace and love. So in this case, right, if you have some peace and love in your heart and you can balance it with anger, it means that you know how to manage this person and of your own emotions. And if you have a lot more peace and friendliness in your heart, that means peace and friendliness is your dominant feeling most of the time. I dare to say that you're no longer easily provoked by anyone. Why? Because you understand this feeling so well versus the other feelings that you learn to treasure this peace in your heart and you will not easily throw it away or allow anyone to take it from you easily anymore. So also, when you cannot be easily provoked because of this friendliness and love and peace in your heart, it means you can be reasonable without the influence of other people's anger or of your own anger. And therefore, you will be able to find peaceful solutions in all that you do. So you can see from this very simple example, when we have no more conflicts or anger in our hearts, there will also be lesser conflicts and anger in the world. As you can see now, we have a lot of anger in the world, from the COVID-19 pandemic to climate change and so many more changes that we will be experiencing. So why should we transform our emotions, right? So most importantly, you have to ask yourself this question: which emotion would you rather experience most in your life? Is it anger? Is it being bored out at work? Or would you challenge yourself whether you meet an angry person, annoying situation, or feel boredom at work? Would you rather challenge yourself and use your life experiences as a way to increase the peace and calm in your heart? So the way to understanding your emotions is by experiencing your beta, which stands for body sensations, emotions, thoughts, and action impulse. In MBSAT, or mindfulness-based strategic awareness training, you learn to experience your beta and understand your subconscious reactions to life's situations. Only by being open to experiencing your beta and understanding them can you begin to transform your negative emotions to positive ones. To begin the practice of mindfulness, or to embark on the purpose to evolve our emotions from negative to positive ones, we require curiosity to learn how we experience life through our emotions. We need to be curious about how each emotion works, how they make us feel in our bodies, how do they, and the consequences, of each emotions, that can bring to our lives. We need to be curious. We also need to know that we don't really know many things. In fact, we only have surface knowledge of many things due to our habitual mind and biases. Because of our biases, right, we are only open to very limited things in our lives. And every time we think we know something, again, we are limiting the potential of our understanding of our experiences in life. So in order to practice mindfulness, you need to have the not knowing mind. I don't know. Because I don't know, I'm curious. Because I'm curious, I'm humble. Because I'm humble, I'm patient. And because I'm patient, I'm willing to understand, to accept, and to learn. You see how this series of self-questioning, curiosity, not knowing can open up your mind, open up to learning, open up to adding meaning and purpose to your life. So that's all from us at Mindful Breath. If you wish to add CEO of Beta in your daily life, click on the video on the screen. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to learn more about mindfulness for a happier life with ease. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again.